English, but we'll do our best to speak in simple and important terms. Hi, George. George Sarantopoulos is with us. He's a candidate for New York City Council District 47, glorious, the great land of Bensonhurst and other small locations. George, what's going on?
Hey, thank you very much. Well, it's the 47th district, just so everyone knows. That's Bay Ridge, Bath Beach, Coney Island, and Seagate. A little bit of Gravesend and a little bit of Dykers Heights. So I don't want to
talked a lot about Bensonhurst. I meant Bay Ridge. I'm sorry, George. My bad.
We don't want to offend anybody, that we left.
No, God forbid. God forbid. Listen, what's happening? What's going on in Brooklyn? This new level of popularity that has been achieved with your race here, and everybody's writing about it. Everybody who's anybody. New York Times writes about it. New York Post writes about it. What's going on? What's the current situation? You won, right?
Yes, I won. I won in court. The other side capitulated and they agreed that I'm the candidate, and the Board of Elections agreed. So all three, we're hopefully done. I believe we're done, and we are moving forward with trying to win the 47th City Council district. We have a socialist Democrat who's running, so we really need to get our act together and keep on moving. I'm out tens of thousands of legal fees to defend my win, but we defended it well and we won. So now on to the general election.
Great. And tell me, what's the whole hustle is about? This New York Times and the Post articles about the irregularities in the elections. Tell me how it came to be.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little hard time hearing you.
The irregularities, what those articles are about. This election turned out to be something very unusual for, as New York Times put it, an obscure, otherwise obscure city council race. George, you can hear me?
I'm sorry, I'm having still a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, you froze here on screen. I don't know, something wrong with the connection.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. You may come back. You may stay where you are. But if you speak, we can hear you. George?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. So what were you asking? Sorry, my apologies.
I was asking what's the articles are about, all this noise about, or is it the information on like a hit on the Brooklyn Republican Party where there were dead people voting, etc.
It looks like there was an organized effort to keep me from the win. There was dead people who voted in the primary that were identified, that were dead and that voted. And there was a second part of the effort to prevent my win, and there was 22 ballots stuffed in a ballot box days after the election.
Wow.
We found that because we had downloaded the totals from every electoral district, and in the middle of the night, a couple of days later, 22 ballots magically appeared. So those were the two parts of the fraud or theft of the election that was trying to go on.
Any explanations offered by whoever is kind of you suspect of such an evil thing, subversion of our elections?
Hello?
Yes, George?
Yeah, it's a little hard to understand you. I apologize about that,
I'm saying anybody, any names related to this heinous deed? Who did it? Do we know?
We don't know. I believe there's two employees at the Board of Elections who have been put on, what do you call it? They've been reassigned. And I hear different reports. They might have been fired or they might have been reassigned. I can't get confirmation either way, Unless the BOE makes a statement or it comes out in the newspaper, all I'm hearing is rumors at this point.
But newspapers wrote about something, and those articles that you and I saw in the Post and the Times, what are they about? What was happening there? Because I can ask you, I can tell you what my problem with this is. My problem is that it was happening for a very long time, and a lot of organizations were talking about looking at the polls and purge the dead people out of there, so-called Lincoln voters who were born at around 1850. Lots of 12-year-olds. I mean, it's all official. There are statistics, and people who did it, I trust them very much. And this was happening, and they did it when the Democrats were in power, and they tried to stop those people. They tried to close my channel, actually banned me for 2 weeks on YouTube when I had an official meeting with an official organization, 501c, etc., etc. People who are looking at uh, the roles of the voter rolls in the state of New York, and they raised money and they made presentations in every county in the city in the state. So now, when it's about Republicans, everybody's writing about it with such glee, with such appetite. Where are the articles about Democrats who were running New York for so long, and all of a sudden only Republicans do it?
I'm sorry to say, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it definitely was organized by Republicans or Republican employees were behind it.
Hmm.
How far up it goes and who's responsible for that, I don't know. I'm sure the Brooklyn DA, and I urge him to get to the bottom of it, needs to investigate this and put people in jail. I mean, if people are responsible for this, they need to go to jail. You know,
I hope it happens, because that would be a great lesson for both, for any side, any group of people who would plan such a crime, basically election crime. And so, what's your next step? What's the next step for you?
well, we got to get organized. We got to do fundraising. We have an opponent who is very organized, who's going to have all the help from the DSA, who's a socialist. I mean, she was one of the first people to bring, she was a campaign manager for a candidate, one of the first socialists that ran in Brooklyn.
Hmm.
So this person is not the Democratic Party of 10, 20 years ago. She's a true believer. So we got to
Hmm.
do everything in our power to either, we got to fundraise, we're activating volunteers, and got to get our message out. We can do better. I mean, look, the Democrats have controlled a big part of the district for almost 2 decades, and quality of life has suffered in the district. Police departments don't have enough police officers to respond to crime in a timely manner. I mean, and the list goes on and on. I mean, the subways, you got a crisis of the mentally ill and the addicted stuck on there, and making not only they're making hell for all the riders on the subway. I mean, the list goes on and on. As I've said a million times before, if people leave the city because they're just fed up, and it just adds up. The taxes, the crime, the quality of life, and then after a while, people just say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm going to move to Jersey or Florida or North Carolina or wherever. You know.
Yeah, it's a situation where the excitement is lost a little bit in New York, I must say. There was no significant truly artistic endeavors accomplished here, in my opinion. I don't know. The politicized musicals, politicized street art, politicized sculptural work, shows. Everything seems to be political and, sorry to say, anti-Trump, anti over 50% of the population of this country. And Americans are good natured people. They come, they have a laugh, they leave for Kentucky, they leave for Minnesota, they live for Tennessee and other states, for Texas. They've seen it, they went to New York, they got their fix, saying that this is a hellhole. So let it rot.
Well,
Will come in
look,
next 5 years. We'll come back. We'll see how it turned out. Right?
I don't think it's a hellhole. For the record, I think it's one of the greatest cities in this country.
No, I'm
It's
talking about the impression people get. They come
well,
from
yeah.
some neat
Listen,
little town to New York City, and they see the muggings, and they experience them sometimes, and they go to see the shows that are about nothing still.
well, people, like I said, I give a speech that I talk, and I've spoken in front of a lot of people the last couple of months, and people come to the city. People, your family, you, my family, Greek immigrants, Russians, Ukrainians, they all came to this country. They didn't. Most of them didn't come to this country for a handout. They didn't come for a free cell phone or to stay at a luxury hotel room. They came here to work, get a part of the American dream. And we have bad apples that we've brought over here that are, committing crimes. And why it's a debate when somebody commits a crime or a violent crime, and why it's even a debate that we're going to deport somebody who's a serial criminal. I don't get that. I mean, our country's spirit, instead of people coming here for the American dream, we're training people to come here and get a handout. And look, people are down on their luck. We should help them, obviously, but we need to get them back on their feet. We shouldn't make it a way of life for people.
So, what do you think? Is this is new rule for the Medicaid recipient? If you are able-bodied and you are between 18 and 64, you have to work for your Medicaid. I don't know the details, but essentially it's 20 hours a week, and you get your free health insurance. It's not free at this point. You have to put in some time and some effort, and I would assume you won't be forced to do a particular job. You will be offered something that you can really do. But do you think it's fair? Do you think a lot of people say, "Oh, wow, that's the end of the world," and 10 million people off Medicaid, there will be a catastrophe? But I don't see it as such. I was here when I came to this country. It was 1996. It was Bill Clinton times. It was kind of similar, except it was like 40 hours a week. And it was during Clinton administration. And
As long
I needed it. I had a kid. I had a family. I didn't know my way around the country, around life here. So I went and I got myself, excuse me, an interesting position where I didn't make any money, but I met people, and I was there for a number of months, and I get some side gigs during while being there, because they understood that I know a thing or two about life in other countries, so I was offered to talk about it and get paid for that as well.
I don't think it's an unreasonable request that people come to this country and we ask them, unless, like you said, if they're able-bodied, if they're having
No,
mental.
not just who come to this country; those who are born in this country.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not an unreasonable request that we ask people to work. I mean, this is not. Look, it would be one thing if you were mentally impaired or you had mental health issues or you were handicapped. Look, we want to live in a society where it helps people that need help. But if you're able-bodied, there's no excuse for you not to be working. You know, um, like I said, my family is immigrants. They came here, they had to work. Nobody gave them free stuff. No luxury hotel in Manhattan. My father and grandfather lived up in a 7, 8 story walk up. That's the story they
Mhm.
always tell. If that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the story I always hear. You know.
Yeah. George, so that may be the way, and there are so many good ways to make our city uh, shining, and the police force, everything. It's gotten better a little bit, but mayoral race is upon us now. And where's your heart regarding the candidates? I just heard Andrew Cuomo was saying that he will never accept Donald Trump's endorsement for mayor's position, the mayor of New York City. He would never accept it. Do you think it's wise to say things like this, George?
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry, you cut out
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. Let me kind of rephrase. Uh, I was just watching TV, and Andrew Cuomo, the candidate for mayor, he was
Yeah,
saying that he would never accept Donald Trump's endorsement, President Trump endorsement for everybody. For
I
if
mean,
he would, is it wise? Do we want a person who would like push the hand, trying to help him in general?
I remember with Andrew Cuomo when he was governor, the president tried to help him here with the pandemic, and he sent them. I don't know if you remember, he sent them a
Of
ship,
course,
right,
of
with
course. I think
a
two even.
hospital ship. And I remember driving by that ship, and the ship was empty, and we didn't use that ship. And meanwhile, Andrew Cuomo sent people back from from hospitals back to senior centers where they died, where they infected other people and then they died. So he has 15,000 seniors on his hands, the deaths of 15,000 seniors on his hands that he could have put it into he could have put him at that hospital boat or whatever, the Jacob Javits Center, another place they didn't use. Um, so Como, I don't know. I just don't see him as mayor of the city of New York.
Yeah, we have an interesting race, and now our Republican candidate is Curtis Sliwa, and I think he's going up in polls. But what's your impression? Is he doing everything he can to get elected, or you
I think
think
there's.
this?
I'm going to have a little bit of a different opinion here. I think he's doing. I think he's doing better than 30 days ago, and I think a good portion of what he needs to do is take off that red beret. And I know he has a lot of strong feelings about it, but I think taking off that red beret and putting on a business suit, there's a certain type of voter, business owners who would be more interested in his candidacy if he took off the red beret and he put on a suit and he started looking like a mayor. Because when you look like a mayor, then one day you become the mayor. He has to look the part, And I know, I know that's an image thing. You're like, well, yeah, but he has all the right policies. But the voters look at image. I mean, Nixon lost an election one time because Nixon, when he ran for president, he lost an election because he was sweating too much in a debate. You know,
You're talking
people.
about the Nixon Kennedy debate.
Yes, yes, and he was. Remember, they had hot lights on him, and he started sweating a lot, and the voters were like, hey, maybe this guy is can't handle the job, right? So in 1960, he lost the election
Yeah,
to Kennedy.
and
So
then Cook County came into play, right?
it
So
can get
forget
you
the sweat,
elected
George.
or
It's
make
not
you lose an
sweat.
election.
It's Cook County. It's Daily Machine, Mayor Daily Machine. The one county made JFK president, not Nixon sweat. It's one county. Again, same thing. Votes,
Well,
votes, votes. Dead people
yeah.
voting.
But
That
the point is, the image matters, right? When you run as a candidate, image matters. Obama, I'm not an Obama person, but Obama, the reason why he won is the image. He projected an image of youthful energy. Again, I'm not an Obama supporter, but
tells a lot about us. You heard what Michelle Obama said the other day. I put it on paper, by the way. She called him, her husband, her glorious husband, Nobel Prize laureate. She called him a trifling nerd with a good voice.
yeah. I mean, listen, I don't understand how Obama
What's
got a
going on
Nobel.
with these people? Did they fool us? And
I
some
don't.
us, not us, but some people they fooled for sure.
Yeah,
A
yeah. I don't know how.
trifling nerd he is.
Yeah, well, they definitely fooled us. There's no question about that.
And now with pockets full of money, they sitting and they spewing nonsense. It's just like shame on us. Fool me once, shame on you.
Getting back to the
Fool me
Nobel,
twice, yeah.
Obama won a Nobel Prize, and remember, he
He
was
didn't win it.
he was
He got it.
actively involved with two wars for the United States at the same time. So I don't know how he got a Nobel Peace Prize when you're actively engaged in wars.
Another important thing in your district, in my district, and in general in this part of New York State is anti-Semitism. And this is, there are different kinds of hatred always present in human organism, like, what they call it, the shingles, right? They live inside you at certain time, they kind of burst out. But for New York, the most populated with Jews, this is the biggest Jewish city in the world in terms of number of Jews who live here. And being anti-Semitic, it's somehow, I would say, counterintuitive, counterproductive, and it's interesting how a mayor positions himself a pro-Hamas, and he surrounds himself with pro-Hamas Jewish leaders of public opinion, so to speak, influencers, etc. And there are organizations like this who are anti-Israel, anti-Netanyahu, anti-Zionist, and even the Jews who voted for Obama, for Biden, for like the Democrat Party is everything to them, and generations and generations. Even they are thinking, do we belong here? Maybe we should move. Maybe we should go elsewhere. Maybe it's time to do Aliyah. Maybe it's time to just sit tight someplace else, take our money out of it. So the city goes down in half, and the half population leaves. And where does it leave everybody else here? Where's the money to do all those beautiful things like city grocery stores and free rides on the bus and public transportation? So
I
that's
mean,
not.
listen, I don't know if you've seen this meme out there. It says, if you like prostitution, no cops on the street, addicts on the subway, vote for Mendami, but hey, you're going to get a free bus ride. So everything's going to be beautiful. Like this guy, Mayor Mendami would be 10 times worse than a Mayor de Blasio ever was, I believe. I mean, every radical that is in the city will probably get a government job for under a Mayor Mendami. So he will be the destruction of the city. He will dismantle all the progress that's been made in the city. He will destroy any institution that keeps us safe, like the NYPD. And he will be probably set the city back at least 50 to 100 years. That's my honest opinion on it. And Mayor Mendami is the most dangerous thing to happen to the city in a long time, politically.
Yeah, this has to be countered with us talking to people about voting, going to the polls, and doing what a good citizen, a good New Yorker should do, but also being vigilant about the voter fraud, which is a serious thing. And President Trump just announced that he's insisting on a new census, and new census would not include any illegals. And NPR, that is still alive, by the way, publishing some pieces here and there. There's someone who wrote an article on NPR says that this is against the 14th Amendment. This is not possible. Even founding fathers said you should include the whole people of the district or whole people of the state to have a good picture of what's going on. And to some extent, it's correct. We need to know how many people live on every square mile, so there would be enough trash cans, there would be enough water supply, enough gas, enough this and that. But on the other hand, when it comes to voting, we need to know that only citizens of this country can vote, period. The rest are guests here. You make your living here. It's good. You're legal. It's good. You're illegal. You got lucky. Maybe not for long. But we need only to have citizens who will be voting. That's it. No other people on any level should participate in U.S. politics in a small town or in a big city, period. That's it. What do you think about it?
Listen, I agree. Only citizens should be allowed to vote. I don't know if you know, there was a bill introduced in New York State by a Senator Salazar, that she wants to make it where you can, if you're an illegal, you can get a job at the fire department or the police department. I don't know if you've seen that. I mean, it either becoming or being a citizen has value or it doesn't. If we're just going to say, well, you know, you can have all the benefits of being a citizen and not being a citizen, then what's the point? I mean, citizenship should carry some weight to it. It should mean something. It should mean that you have the right to vote. It should mean that you have a right to get a city or government job. You cannot have a system where you can't have a porous border. You can't have an open border and just have and just give benefits to everybody, because then if the border was completely open and you had open and you gave the generous benefits or system that we have here in the United States, there'd be 500 more million people in the United States overnight. I mean, we can't. The two things can't coexist, right? You can't have an open border and be a generous country. You just can't. Those two things cannot work simultaneously. Eventually, that country will go bankrupt.
What's the kind of the reason the for being generous country?
Well, listen, we want to.
How does it benefit the United States of America on its 250th year of existence? What do we get from it, from this generosity? So far, we didn't get much. Our foreign policy is not good. Our domestic policy is on the ropes. Our economy is kind of better than both of them put together, but still there are unhappy people and there are poor people. So what do we get for our generosity?
Well, I think the system is designed to keep people poor. It's not designed to give them a leg up. In other words, we have, you see families where the grandmother, the mother, and the child are both on both receiving aid, and we're not trying to pull more people out of poverty.
How do you pull people out of poverty? What's your plan? What's your recipe? What's your secret?
Oh, there's a lot of things you can do. You can do tutoring in the inner city. You can do tutoring in low-income areas for children to get into the better high schools. Better high schools means they're going to get into a better college. Better college means they're going to get a better job down the line. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a 5, 10, 20-year project. But if you're just going to give them government benefits, and listen, I think we live in a society where we have to take care of people, but we have to have a plan where we're going to be like, okay, we're going to try to get you out of this poverty. We're going to try to get you into a home in 10 years or 5 years. If our system is designed just to trap you there, and I just don't believe it's doing enough, to get you out of poverty. The men, listen, a welder makes $150,000 if you work for Con Edison or an electrical company. Why are we not training people to do that? I mean, why are we not training?
We're paying for this with our electricity rates for the salary. Well, the rate is through the roof now for the electricity. The bill.
But I'm sure it's not really going to the workers.
I'm not blaming anybody, but this is how it works. It's my bill in say 6 years that I live in this particular address went up 3 times, 300%. Is it normal? Whose salary went 300%? Raise your hand in 3 years.
Definitely not
staying
mine.
on the same job.
Definitely not mine and yours.
Which business grew 3 times in 3 years?
No one.
We know the answer now. That's not fair. That's not fair. We have enough. We got to have enough electricity. We got to have enough everything. We have everything in this country. And when Donald Trump came into presidency, I'm not saying it as a MAGA guy. This hat I cannot take it off. Unlike Curtis Lewa, maybe. He does not take it. That's why I like him. He stays in his beret, and I stay in this cap, and it kind of works for me and works for people. When I take it off, I become a regular, 60 plus Brooklynite. Hat makes you special. It's a time-honored tradition. You remember Phrygian, how they call it? In ancient Greece, there were some nomadic parts that were raiding the parts of Greece, Phrygia, Phrygians they were called, and then the Jacobins, and then the Russian communists. They wore their Budonovkas, and the hat is very. Of course, Nazis wore their famous caps. It's a symbol of something, not necessarily a good thing or bad thing by itself, but it's a tradition. We recognize times by the wigs people wear. We recognize lots of things by the headgear that people wear. The baseball fans, the football fans, whatever. That cap is a big part of it. Union members, they wear the caps. So that's important. People have to live with that. I don't run at anybody. I don't jump anybody who's wearing a BLM shirt. God bless them, so to speak. So let them finish the day peacefully. Uh, that's it. That's it. Let them
Look,
go about their lives. Just
I
don't do violence. That's it.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
insult people, and mind your business. And a lot of things people have to think how to make their lives better. I want less government in Americans' life. I want less of it. I want less interjection. I want less interruption. But because look at the history of the last 30, 40 years, the government tends to mess things up, start wars. We don't start wars. Citizens, they don't start wars.
That's one. Listen, that's one thing
Governments do.
I would agree on, that the United States, tends to start wars and gets us involved with overseas projects. And then we not only go to war with the country, then we try to rebuild the country. And meanwhile, we have roads here that are falling apart, bridges that are falling apart, and our country's infrastructure is falling apart. I would say, look, we need to keep more of that money here in the United States.
George, I thank you so much for this conversation. You started it, and we got to discuss a number of issues. I wanted just for everybody who's looking at this program, watching this program. Sorry, my days are pretty overloaded these days. I have family emergency ongoing for a month already. So my dad's in this rehab that decided to advertise on my channel, and I can only say good things about this place. I had very negative experiences in our part of New York State, in Brooklyn, and now I must say that I'm so happy when I come across honest services, good people, and interested in doing to achieving the same result you want them to achieve. If you want your uh, loved ones to get out of there quick, they will help you. Just set the goal. You go to this place. It's called Shoreview. It's a nursing and rehabilitation center. There's a phone number 718-877-0900. Ask for Edward. That's his personal number. Actually, no one else would pick up the phone. He's an administrator. He's in a good position there to advise you, and about your needs and how they can fulfill it. They're fully equipped, wonderful staff, which is the best thing that can happen when you go to a medical facility. And don't pay attention to the equipment. Equipment does not heal you. What kills you is the staff, the skills, the bedside manners, the desire to help you. And this is what Shoreview offers you, alongside with the medical equipment, alongside with very clean, very nice place where they just passed the inspection with flying colors. They are among 100 best facilities of that kind in New York State, if not in the country. I'll bring more information next time, but please take a look. Ask Edward. 718-877-0900. 718-877-0900. You see, George, my heroes are Joe Franklin and Rush Limbaugh, and they all love to ad lib. So I am trying to do my part, learning from the best.
I think I'm aging myself, but I actually know who Joe Franklin is.
You know who Joe Franklin is.
I know who Joe Franklin is, but
I knew him personally. We spent many hours together. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. And I was traveling when he passed away. It was a big deal, his funeral. And I saw the man in action, and I even put some videos on YouTube when I was present when the action was happening in his open office. Who has open office nowadays in New York? Nobody. So you could come and talk to the man every day, every moment. George, thank you again. All best, and we'll be watching. We'll be watching. We want you in the city council. Finally, please prevail. Please win.
thank you, Yuri, for having me on.
Bye bye.